Lily Jenkins stopped breathing when she heard her name whispered through the rain. The white van had followed her for 17 days, and now the man inside knew who she was. Her parents didn't believe her. The police dismissed her. Her teacher patted her head and walked away. At 8 years old, she learned the cruelest truth. Being right means nothing when no one listens. But four strangers in leather jackets were about to prove that sometimes the scariest-looking people are the only ones brave enough to see the truth. Before we dive into Lily's story, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. This journey needs witnesses. Drop a comment telling us what city you're watching from so we can see how far Lily's courage travels. Now let's begin where innocence ended and justice was born. Lily's sneakers made wet slapping sounds against the sidewalk that Tuesday morning in October. Purple with silver laces, she'd picked them out herself 3 weeks ago for her 8th birthday. The rain came down steady, not hard enough to hurt, but cold enough to make her shoulders tight. She walked the same 6 blocks every morning. Brookhaven, Pennsylvania didn't have school buses for kids who lived this close to Riverside Elementary. Her mom said it built character. Her dad said it saved gas money. Lily just knew it meant walking alone while other kids got dropped off in warm cars. The white van appeared on day 4. She noticed it first on a Monday, parked across from the bakery on Maple Street. Just a plain work van dinged up around the edges, with those windows in the back you couldn't see through. Lily walked past it carrying her backpack with the butterfly patch her grandmother sewed on. Tuesday the van sat in the same spot. Wednesday, same place. By Thursday, Lily started walking faster when she passed it. Friday, she crossed to the other side of the street. "Mom, there's a van that follows me to school," she said that Friday night while her mother folded laundry in the living room. "Follows you?" Her mother didn't look up from matching socks. "Honey, people park on streets. That's what streets are for." "But it's the same van every day, in the same spot. Probably someone who works in the area." Her mother smiled the smile adults give when they think you're being silly. "Maybe a construction worker or a repairman. This town is full of workers, sweetie." Lily wanted to argue. She wanted to say that workers don't sit in their vans and stare. They don't watch little girls walk by every single morning. But her mother had already moved on to folding towels, humming along to the radio. That night, Lily lay in bed staring at her glow-in-the-dark stars and told herself her mother was probably right. Probably just a worker. Probably nothing to worry about. But Monday came and the van was there again. This time, Lily saw him clearly. A man with a beard, not old, but not young, either, wearing a dark baseball cap. He sat in the driver's seat with the window cracked open. When Lily walked past on the opposite sidewalk, his head turned to follow her movement. Her stomach twisted. She walked faster, counting her steps like her dad taught her when she got nervous. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. By the time she reached the school crossing guard, she was almost running. "Slow down there, sweetheart," Mrs. Patterson called out, her orange vest bright against the gray morning. "School's not going anywhere." Lily wanted to tell Mrs. Patterson about the van, but Mrs. Patterson was already waving 3 other kids across the street, her whistle between her teeth. In class that morning, Lily couldn't focus. Her teacher, Miss Rodriguez, had to call her name twice during spelling. Lily Jenkins." "Yes, ma'am." "Can you spell necessary?" Lily's mind went blank. All she could think about was the van and the man's eyes following her. See? "It's okay, honey. Try again." But she couldn't. The letters jumbled in her head like puzzle pieces that didn't fit. At recess, her best friend Emma asked if she wanted to play hopscotch. "There's a man who watches me walk to school," Lily said instead. Emma stopped mid-hop. "What man?" "In a white van. He's there every day." "Did you tell your mom?" "She said he's probably just a worker." Emma thought about this, her face serious. "My mom says we should always tell grown-ups if something feels wrong." "I did tell grown-ups. They don't believe me." Emma didn't know what to say to that. She was 8 too. 8-year-olds aren't supposed to know what to do when the adults get it wrong. That afternoon, Lily's mother picked her up, unusual for a Monday. They had a dentist appointment. "Mom," Lily said as they drove past Maple Street, "there's the van I told you about." Her mother glanced over. That white one, Lily, there are probably 50 white vans in this town. You're letting your imagination run wild. But, sweetie, I love that you're aware of your surroundings. That's smart, but you can't be afraid of every vehicle you see. That's not a way to live. Lily went quiet. Her mother meant well, she knew that. But meaning well doesn't protect anyone. The next morning, Tuesday, Lily asked her father to walk with her to school. "Can't, Pumpkin. I've got an early shift at the plant." He kissed the top of her head. "You're a big girl. 6 blocks is nothing." "Dad, please?" "Lily." His voice got that firm edge that meant the conversation was over. "You walk to school every day, rain or shine. That's the deal." She left the house at 7:43, same as always. The rain had stopped, but the streets were still wet and the sky hung low and gray like a dirty blanket. The van was there. Same spot, same man. But this time, as Lily approached, walking on the far side of the street, the man opened his door. Lily's heart hammered so hard, she heard it in her ears. The man stepped out. He wore work boots and jeans and that same dark cap. He didn't cross the street. He just stood there next to his van watching her. Lily broke into a run. She ran the whole 4 remaining blocks to school, her backpack bouncing against her spine, her breath coming in gasps. When she reached the crossing guard, she bent over, hands on her knees, trying not to cry. "Lily, what's wrong?" Mrs. Patterson bent down her hand on Lily's shoulder. "The van." Lily gasped. "The man got out." "What man, honey?" "The one who watches me. Every day. The white van on Maple Street." Mrs. Patterson's face shifted not to concern, but to that same patient smile Lily's mother had worn. "Did he say anything to you?" "No, but did he try to follow you?" "He got out of his van, but he didn't chase you or approach you." Lily's throat closed up. "No, but he was watching me. He's always watching me." Mrs. Patterson squeezed her shoulder. "I tell you what, how about I walk with you after school today? We'll see if this van is there, okay?" Lily nodded, relief flooding through her. Finally, someone would see. Someone would believe her. But that afternoon, when Mrs. Patterson walked Lily's route with her, the van was gone. "See," Mrs. Patterson said gently, "I think maybe you've been watching too many scary movies, sweetheart. It's easy to let our imaginations get the better of us." Lily said nothing. What was there to say? The van had been there every day for 2 weeks, but the one time an adult came to look, it disappeared. That night at dinner, her parents asked about her day. "Mrs. Patterson walked home with me," Lily said. "That was nice of her," her mother said. "I asked her to because of the van." Her father set down his fork. "Lily, we've talked about this." "But Dad, enough. You're 8 years old. You're going to see vehicles on the street every day of your life. You can't panic every time you see a white van." "I'm not panicking, you're creating problems where there aren't any." His voice wasn't angry, just tired. "Your mother and I work hard. We have real things to worry about. We can't drop everything because you're scared of a parked car." Lily's eyes burned, but she didn't cry. She learned something that night: being afraid doesn't matter if no one else is afraid with you. Wednesday morning, she almost asked to stay home sick, but her mother would know she was lying, and lying was worse than being scared. The van was there. Same spot, same man. This time, Lily didn't even try to avoid it. She walked on her side of the street, kept her eyes forward, and counted her steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. When she got to school, she went straight to the principal's office. "I need to report something," she told Mrs. Chen, the school secretary. "What is it, honey?" "There's a man in a white van who follows me to school every day." Mrs. Chen's fingers paused over her keyboard. "Have you told your parents?" "Yes, they don't believe me." "I see." Mrs. Chen picked up the phone. "Let me get Principal Davidson." Principal Davidson was a tall woman who wore glasses on a chain around her neck. She listened to Lily's story with her hands folded on her desk. "This van," she said when Lily finished, "is it there every single morning?" "Yes, ma'am." "And this man, has he ever spoken to you, approached you, Followed you in his vehicle. No, but... Lily, I appreciate you coming to me with this. I really do. But without any actual threatening behavior, there's not much I can do. People have a right to park on public streets. But he watches me. That's concerning, I agree. But watching isn't a crime. Principal Davidson's voice softened. Tell you what, I'll have Officer Brennan keep an extra eye out during school routes this week. If he sees anything suspicious, he'll investigate. How does that sound? It sounded like another adult who didn't believe her. But Lily nodded anyway, because that's what 8-year-olds do when they have no power. Thursday came and went. The van stayed put. Friday, the rain returned harder this time, pounding down like it was angry at the world. Lily wore her yellow raincoat with the hood up, walking fast because the rain made everything worse. She could barely see through the downpour, could barely hear anything over the sound of water hitting pavement. She was 2 blocks from school when she heard it. Lily! Her name, spoken low and close, cutting through the rain. She stopped walking, her whole body locked up like someone had pressed pause on her life. Lily Jenkins. The voice came from behind her. She turned slowly, rain streaming down her face. The white van sat at the curb, engine running. The driver's window was down. The man leaned out, his face partially hidden under his cap, but his mouth visible, smiling. I know your name, he said. I know where you live. I know where you go to school. Lily couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't scream. You told your parents about me. The man's smile widened. That wasn't very nice. The rain pounded down. A car drove past, its tires hissing on wet pavement. But the driver didn't see her, didn't see the man, didn't see anything wrong. I just want to talk to you, the man said. Just for a minute. Come here. Lily's legs finally unlocked. She ran. She ran like she'd never run before. Her backpack slamming against her spine, her raincoat flapping, her purple sneakers splashing through puddles. She didn't look back, didn't stop, didn't think about anything except getting away. She ran past the school entrance, too scared to stop there. She ran past the crossing guard. She ran until her lungs burned and her legs felt like rubber. And then she saw it. Joe's Diner. The parking lot had 4 motorcycles lined up near the entrance, gleaming even in the rain. Through the diner window, she could see 4 men in leather jackets sitting at a booth. Lily didn't think. She just burst through the diner door, soaking wet, gasping for air, tears mixing with rain on her face. The 4 men looked up. Please, Lily choked out. Please help me. He knows my name. One of the men, broad-shouldered with a gray beard and tattoos on his forearms, stood immediately. Who knows your name? He asked, his voice calm but sharp. The man in the van. He's been following me to school. He knows where I live. He knows everything. The words poured out of her like water from a broken dam. I told my parents. I told my teacher. I told the principal. Nobody believes me. But he's real. He's out there right now. Please, please, you have to believe me. The man crouched down so he was eye level with her. Rain dripped from her hood onto the floor between them. What's your name? He asked. Lily Jenkins. Lily, my name is Marcus Thompson. My friends call me Bull. He didn't smile, didn't try to make her feel better with false comfort. He just looked her straight in the eye. Tell me about this van. And for the first time in 17 days, someone actually listened. Lily told him everything. The white van, the same parking spot, the man who watched her, the baseball cap, the work boots, how he got out of his van on Tuesday, how he said her name through the rain just minutes ago. Bull listened without interrupting. When she finished, he stood and looked at his 3 friends. Rico, Jax, Tommy, get your rain gear. The 3 men stood immediately, no questions asked. Bull turned back to Lily. Which direction did you come from? She pointed back toward Maple Street. You're going to stay here with Diane. He nodded toward the waitress, a woman with red hair and kind eyes. We're going to go find this van. When we come back, we're going to call your parents. Does that sound okay? Lily nodded, her whole body shaking from cold, from fear, from something that felt dangerously close to hope. Bull pulled a card from his wallet and handed it to Diane. She doesn't leave your sight. If anyone tries to take her, you call me immediately. I've got her, Diane said, wrapping a warm arm around Lily's shoulders. The four men walked out into the rain. Through the window, Lily watched them mount their motorcycles. They didn't speed off dramatically. They just rode away purposefully, their engines rumbling low. You want some hot chocolate, baby? Diane asked. Lily nodded. As Diane brought her a steaming mug and a towel for her hair, Lily felt something she hadn't felt in 17 days. Safe. Not because the danger was gone, the van was still out there, the man still knew her name, but because for the first time, someone looked at her fear and said, I believe you. 20 minutes later, the diner door opened. Bull walked in first, rain dripping from his leather jacket. His face was hard. We found the van, he said. Lily's heart stopped. We got photos, license plate, everything. Bull crouched down again, meeting her eyes. Lily, we're going to need to call your parents now. But I want you to know something first. What you did today, coming to us telling the truth, even when no one believed you. That took courage. Most adults don't have. You did the right thing. Lily's eyes filled with tears, but they weren't scared tears anymore. Bull pulled out his phone. What's your mom's number? Lily recited it from memory and Bull dialed. Mrs. Jenkins, my name is Marcus Thompson. I'm at Joe's Diner on Route 19 with your daughter Lily. Yes, ma'am, she's safe. But we need you to come down here right away. Your daughter has been telling the truth and we have evidence to prove it. There was a long pause while Bull listened. Ma'am, I understand you're confused. I'm going to need you to trust me the same way your daughter just trusted me. Get in your car and come to Joe's Diner. Bring your husband if he's available. We'll explain everything. Another pause. No, ma'am, I'm not with the police, but I think the police are going to need to be involved very soon. He hung up and looked at Lily. Your mom's on her way. Should be here in about 10 minutes. Lily nodded, holding her hot chocolate with both hands. Bull sat down across from her, his massive frame barely fitting into the diner booth. The other three men, Rico, Jax, and Tommy, joined him, their leather jackets creaking as they settled in. Lily, but, Bull said, can you tell me everything you remember about this man? Not just what he looks like, but how he makes you feel. What your gut tells you about him. And so Lily told them everything again. But this time she added the details she'd been too afraid to say before. How the man's smile didn't reach his eyes. How he tilted his head like he was studying her when she walked past. How on Wednesday she saw him writing something in a notebook. A notebook. Rico leaned forward. He had a scar across his left eyebrow and a voice like gravel. What kind of notebook? Small, black. He was writing in it while watching me. The four men exchanged looks. That's not a worker on a break, Jack said quietly. He was the youngest of the group, maybe 30, with sleeve tattoos and sharp eyes. That's documentation. Bull's jaw tightened. We need to move fast on this. The diner door burst open and Lily's mother rushed in, her hair wild, her eyes searching frantically. Lily! Mom! Her mother grabbed her, pulling her into a tight hug that squeezed the air from Lily's lungs. Oh my God, are you okay? What happened? Who are these men? Mrs. Jenkins. Bull stood his presence commanding without being threatening. I'm Marcus Thompson. Your daughter came to us for help about 20 minutes ago. She was being followed by a man in a white van who knew her name and personal information. Lily's mother's face went pale. What? We found the van. We documented it. We have the license plate. And we need to contact the police immediately. The van, her mother's voice cracked. The van she kept telling me about. Yes, ma'am. Oh, God. Lily's mother's legs seemed to buckle. She sat down hard in the booth, still holding Lily. Oh, God, I didn't believe her. I thought she was... You thought she was being a scared kid, Bull said, not unkindly. But she wasn't. She was being a smart kid who trusted her instincts. Lily's mother started to cry, not pretty tears, but harsh gulping sobs that shook her whole body. I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. I should have listened. I should have believed you. Lily hugged her mother tighter. It's okay, Mom. It's not okay. You were right, and I... She looked up at Bull, her face streaked with tears. Thank you. Thank you for listening to her when I didn't. Bull pulled out his phone again. I'm calling a friend of mine at the Brookhaven Police Department, Detective Sarah Mills. She's solid, and she'll take this seriously. He stepped away from the booth phone to his ear. Rico slid a glass of water across the table to Lily's mother. Ma'am, your daughter is one of the bravest kids I've ever met. Most children would have stopped talking after the first person told them they were wrong. She kept trying. That's survival instinct. Lily's mother wiped her eyes. I don't understand. Why would a grown man... She couldn't finish the sentence. That's what the police are going to find out, Tommy said. He was the quiet one of the group, older than the others, with silver in his beard. But whatever his intentions were, they weren't good. Bull returned to the booth. Detective Mills is on her way. ETA 5 minutes. She wants everyone to stay put. Lily's mother nodded, still holding Lily close. Mrs. Jenkins, Bull said carefully, I need to ask you something. Has Lily ever lied to you about something important? No, never. Has she ever made up stories for attention? No, she's a quiet kid, keeps to herself mostly. Then why didn't you believe her? The question hung in the air like smoke. Lily's mother's face crumpled again. Because it was easier to think she was wrong than to think something that terrible could be happening. Because I wanted her to be safe, and believing she was safe felt the same as her actually being safe. Because I'm a terrible mother who... You're not a terrible mother, Bull interrupted gently. You're a human being who made a mistake. What matters now is what you do next. A police cruiser pulled into the diner parking lot, lights off but moving with purpose. Detective Sarah Mills walked in moments later, a woman in her 40s with short brown hair and eyes that missed nothing. She wore jeans and a department windbreaker, and she moved like someone who'd seen too much but hadn't lost her humanity yet. Bull, she said, nodding at him. Sarah. He gestured to Lily and her mother. This is Lily Jenkins and her mother. Lily, can you tell Detective Mills what you told me? For the third time that day, Lily told her story. But this time an actual police officer listened, and this time her mother heard every word. Really heard it, maybe for the first time. When Lily finished, Detective Mills pulled out her own notebook. Nothing like the man's black one, but still something to record truth. Lily, you did exactly the right thing by getting help. I want you to know that. Mills turned to Bull. You said you found the van. Parked on Maple Street near the bakery. White Chevy cargo van, license plate, PFG 7742. Driver was inside, but he took off when he saw us coming. You approach him. No, just documented from a distance. Got photos on my phone. Send them to me. Mills gave him her number. I'm going to run this plate right now. She stepped outside, radio in hand. Lily's mother looked at Bull. You said your name was Marcus Thompson. Yes, ma'am. You ride motorcycles. Yes, ma'am. We're part of the Guardians. It's a veterans organization. Veterans, Bull. Army Rangers. All 4 of us served together in Afghanistan. When we came home, we started a group to help each other adjust. Now we do community work, mostly helping at-risk kids. Rico smiled slightly. We look scary, but we're actually pretty boring. Last week, we helped rebuild a playground. Tommy nodded. And the week before that, we escorted a kid being bullied to school every day until the bullies backed off. Lily's mother's hand went to her mouth. I judged you. When Lily walked in and I saw you through the window, I thought, everyone judges us, ma'am, Jack said. We're used to it. The leather, the bikes, the tattoos, we know what we look like. But Bull here taught us something important. Sometimes the people who look the scariest on the outside are the safest on the inside, because we know what real danger looks like and we don't tolerate it. Detective Mills returned, her face grim. That van is registered to a Robert Henley, age 42, with an address in Grove City, 2 towns over. He has a record. The temperature in the diner seemed to drop. What kind of record? Lily's mother whispered. Mills chose her words carefully, glancing at Lily. The kind that means he shouldn't be anywhere near schools or children. He's on a registry. Lily didn't understand all the words, but she understood the look on her mother's face. She understood the way Bull's hands curled into fists on the table. She understood that whatever this man wanted, it was worse than just scaring her. I'm issuing a bolo for the van right now, Mills said, and I want to post an officer at your house, Mrs. Jenkins, just as a precaution. At our house? Her mother's voice cracked. You think he knows where we live? Mills met her eyes. He knew Lily's name. He knew her school route. We have to assume he's been watching her for longer than just these few weeks. The hot chocolate in Lily's stomach turned cold. Bull leaned forward. Sarah, we want to help with this. Mills shook her head immediately. Bull, you know I can't have civilians involved in an active investigation. I'm not asking to get involved in your investigation. I'm asking to help keep this family safe until you catch him. We'll have an officer. One officer, one cruiser. You and I both know how stretched your department is. Bull's voice was calm but insistent. We can provide additional eyes. We won't engage, we won't intervene, we'll just watch and report. You know we're good for it. Mills hesitated. If the captain finds out, the captain knows who we are. He spoke at our veterans event last month. A long moment of silence. Finally, Mills nodded. Okay, but you follow my rules. You see anything, you call me immediately. You do not approach. You do not engage. You are eyes only. Clear? Crystal. Mills turned to Lily's mother. Mrs. Jenkins, I need you to take Lily home. I'm going to have Officer Ramirez follow you there and post up outside your house. Do not let Lily out of your sight. Keep your doors locked, curtains closed. If you see that van anywhere near your house, you call 911 immediately. What about school? Lily's mother asked. Can she still go to school? For now, I'd recommend keeping her home, at least until we locate Henley and determine what his intentions are. Lily's mother nodded, her face pale. Bull stood. Mrs. Jenkins, if it's okay with you and Detective Mills, we'd like to escort you home, just to make sure you get there safely. Lily's mother looked at these four large men in leather jackets, men she would have avoided on any normal day, and nodded. Please, she said. Yes, please. They left the diner in a convoy, Lily and her mother in their sedan, four motorcycles surrounding them like protective wolves, and Officer Ramirez's cruiser bringing up the rear. As they drove through Brookhaven's quiet streets, Lily watched through the back window as the bikers maintained their formation. Rain still fell, but lighter now, like the sky was getting tired of crying. Lily, her mother said from the front seat, her voice thick with tears. I am so sorry. You tried to tell me. You tried so hard and I didn't listen. I will never forgive myself for that. It's okay, Mom. It's not okay. But I promise you, I swear to you, I will never doubt you again. If you tell me something feels wrong, I will believe you, always. Lily nodded, watching Bull's motorcycle through the rain-streaked window. When they reached their small house on Birch Street, the convoy pulled up carefully. Bull and his men stayed on their bikes while Officer Ramirez did a perimeter check of the property. All clear, Ramirez called out. Only then did Lily and her mother get out of the car. Bull dismounted and approached them. Mrs. Jenkins, we're going to take shifts watching your street tonight. Mills will have her officer here, but we'll be nearby too. If you need anything at all, you call this number. He handed her a card. Day or night? Why are you doing this? Lily's mother asked. You don't even know us. Bull glanced down at Lily, then back at her mother. Ma'am, we all have kids we couldn't protect overseas. Sons and daughters caught in wars they didn't start. We came home carrying that weight. His voice was rough honest. This we can protect. This we can fix. So we do. Lily's mother's eyes filled with fresh tears. Thank you. Bull crouched down one more time to meet Lily's eyes. You did good today, kid. You trusted your gut, you asked for help, and you didn't give up even when it was hard. That's warrior thinking. What's warrior thinking? Lily asked. It means you see danger clearly, you act despite fear, and you protect yourself and others. You're 8 years old and you've already got it. Most adults never learn. He held out his fist. Lily bumped it with her own small fist. "We're going to catch this guy," Bull said. "I promise you that." As Lily and her mother went inside and locked the door behind them, Lily felt something she'd almost forgotten existed. Hope. Not the childish hope that everything would magically be okay, but the real kind, the kind built on strangers who chose to care, who saw fear and met it with protection, who believed a little girl when everyone else had called her paranoid. That night, Lily lay in bed staring at her glow-in-the-dark stars, while her father, who'd come home early from work and held her for 15 minutes without saying anything, sat in a chair by her door. "Dad," she whispered. "Yeah, pumpkin. I was right." A long pause. "You were right," he said, his voice breaking. "You were right, and I'm sorry I didn't believe you. I'm so sorry. It's okay. It's not okay, but I'm going to make it okay. Whatever it takes." Through her window, Lily could see the shape of a motorcycle parked 2 houses down. She couldn't see the rider clearly, but she knew it was one of the guardians. Watching, protecting, believing. For the first time in 17 days, Lily closed her eyes and went to sleep without fear crushing her chest. Because sometimes the monsters are real, but sometimes so are the heroes, even when they wear leather instead of capes. Morning came too fast. Lily woke to voices downstairs, low, urgent male voices that didn't belong to her father. She crept to the top of the stairs in her pajamas, listening. 3 times last night, Bull was saying. Different vehicle each time. A sedan around midnight, a pickup at 2 a.m., another van at 4:30. "You're sure it wasn't just neighbors?" Her father's voice sounded tired, scraped, raw. "Sir, I've been doing surveillance for 20 years. I know the difference between someone coming home late and someone circling a block looking for weaknesses." Lily sat down on the top step, hugging her knees. "Detective Mills pulled Henley's phone records," Bull continued. "He's been in contact with at least 6 other individuals in the past month. Encrypted messaging apps, burner phones. This isn't some lone predator, Mr. Jenkins. This is organized." Her mother's voice came out strangled. "How organized?" "Mills is bringing in the FBI. She doesn't have jurisdiction to say more. But between you and me, your daughter stumbled into something bigger than one creep in a van." Lily heard her mother start crying again. She'd been doing that a lot since yesterday. "What do we do?" her father asked. "First, you let us help you. Mills has her people doing their job, but we can do things the police can't. We can watch your house around the clock. We can escort Lily anywhere she needs to go. We can be visible enough that anyone thinking about approaching this family sees us first and decides it's not worth the risk." "You barely know us," her father said. "Doesn't matter. Your daughter asked for help. That's all the introduction we need." Lily stood up and walked downstairs. 3 heads turned to look at her, her parents at the kitchen table, Bull standing near the counter with a cup of coffee. "Morning, warrior," Bull said. "Did you sleep at all?" Lily asked him. "Enough." He smiled, but his eyes had dark circles. "Rico's outside now. We're doing 4-hour shifts." Lily's father rubbed his face. "Lily, honey, we need to talk about school." "I'm not going, am I?" "Not for a few days, just until until they catch him," Lily finished. Her parents exchanged glances. "They will catch him, right?" Lily pressed. Bull crouched down, same as he'd done yesterday at the diner. "They're going to try their absolute hardest. But Lily, I need you to understand something. Bad people don't always get caught right away. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes building a case. What matters is that while they're working on catching him, we're working on keeping you safe. Can you trust us to do that?" Lily nodded. "Good. Now I need you to do something for me. I need you to write down everything you remember about the past few weeks. Every time you saw that van. Every detail about the man. What he wore, how he moved, anything he said. Can you do that? Detective Mills already asked me questions yesterday. I know, but sometimes when we write things down, we remember details we forgot to say out loud. It's for the investigation." Lily's mother brought her a notebook, one of her school ones with a unicorn on the cover, and Lily sat at the kitchen table writing while the adults talked in low voices. She wrote about day 1, day 4, the baseball cap, the work boots. She wrote about Tuesday when he got out of the van. She wrote about Friday in the rain when he said her name. Then she remembered something. Bull. He came over immediately. Yeah. On Wednesday, when I saw him writing in his notebook, there was something else. He had a camera. Bull went very still. What kind of camera? Like the professional kind. Black with a big lens. It was on his passenger seat. Bull's jaw tightened. He pulled out his phone and stepped into the hallway, voice low and urgent. Lily's mother put a hand on her shoulder. You're doing so good, baby. So good. When Bull came back, his face was harder. Mills is sending someone to take your statement again. That camera detail is important. Why? Lily asked. Bull hesitated, choosing words carefully. Because it means he wasn't just watching you. He was documenting you. And that suggests intent beyond just stalking. Lily didn't fully understand, but she understood enough to feel sick. Her father stood abruptly. I'm calling my boss. I'm taking leave. I'm not going to work while this is happening. John, her mother started. I don't care about the plant. I don't care about missing shifts. Our daughter is in danger and I wasn't here when she needed me. His voice cracked. I'm here now. He walked out of the kitchen phone, already to his ear. Lily's mother looked at Bull. Is my daughter going to be okay? We're going to do everything in our power to make sure she is, Bull said. But Mrs. Jenkins, I need you to be prepared for this to get harder before it gets easier. If Henley is part of a network and everything suggests he is, then there are other people involved, other targets. The FBI doesn't bring in their resources for one guy stalking one kid. They bring them in when it's systemic. Systemic. Lily's mother repeated the word, heavy in her mouth. Yes, ma'am. How many children? I don't know. But Mills will find out. 2 hours later, an FBI agent named Carson showed up with Detective Mills. He wore a suit that looked uncomfortable and carried a briefcase that probably cost more than Lily's father made in a month. Lily, he said, sitting across from her at the dining table. I'm Agent Carson. I work for the FBI, which means I help solve really big, really complicated cases. Detective Mills told me you're very brave and very smart. Is it okay if I ask you some questions? Lily nodded. Tell me about the camera you saw. She described it as best she could. Black, professional-looking, big lens on the passenger seat. Did you ever see him take pictures? I don't know. I tried not to look at him. That's smart. Did you ever hear a camera sound like a click or a beep? Lily thought hard. Maybe once. On Monday last week, I thought it was just a car door or something. Agent Carson wrote everything down. His handwriting was neat, precise. Lily, did you ever see any other children near that van? Her stomach dropped. She hadn't thought about that. I don't know. I was always trying to walk fast and not look. That's okay. You did exactly what you should have done. Carson looked at her parents. Mr. and Mrs. Jenkins, we're going to need to expand our investigation. We're looking at traffic camera footage from the area around Maple Street. We're interviewing business owners. We're tracking Henley's known associates. How long will this take? Lily's father asked. As long as it takes to ensure your daughter's safety and build a prosecutable case. Carson's voice was flat professional. In the meantime, I'm recommending a protective detail. We already have one, Bull said from where he stood near the window. 4 of us in rotation. Carson looked at him for the first time, taking in the leather jacket, the tattoos, the sheer size of the man. You're the veterans group, Carson said. The Guardians, yes, sir. Detective Mills filled me in. Carson's expression didn't change. I appreciate civilian assistance, but this is now a federal investigation. We have protocols. Your protocols involve how many agents watching this house? Bull asked, his tone respectful but firm. We can provide periodic drive-bys and periodic. Bull let the word hang. We're providing 24-hour coverage. 4 men, 4-hour shifts, each eyes on this house at all times. You can provide periodic drive-bys too if that makes you feel better, but I'm not leaving this family unprotected because you've got protocols. Carson and Bull stared at each other. Finally, Mills spoke up. Agent Carson Bull and his crew have been vetted. They're all former military with security clearances. They know how to observe without interfering. Having them here doesn't compromise your investigation, it supplements it. Carson's mouth tightened. Fine, but you report anything you see directly to Detective Mills, who reports to me. You do not engage. You do not approach. You do not play hero. Clear. Crystal, Bull said. After Carson and Mills left, Lily's father pulled Bull aside. I need to pay you. For your time for gas, for... No, sir. I insist, Mr. Jenkins. Bull's voice was gentle but absolute. We don't do this for money. We do this because it needs doing. The only thing we ask in return is that if you ever see another kid in trouble, you believe them. That's payment enough. Lily's father's eyes went wet. He stuck out his hand and Bull shook it. That afternoon, while Lily's father worked from home on his laptop and her mother stress-baked 3 dozen cookies, Lily sat on the couch trying to watch TV, but mostly just feeling numb. The doorbell rang. Everyone froze. Bull appeared from the kitchen, moving fast despite his size. He looked through the peephole, then relaxed. It's Emma, he said. Lily's mother opened the door. Emma stood there with her own mother holding a stuffed unicorn. We heard what happened, Emma's mother said quietly. Emma wanted to bring Lily something. Emma thrust the unicorn at Lily. It's my favorite one, Mr. Sparkles. He helps when I'm scared. Lily took the unicorn, its fur soft against her hands. Thank you. Are you okay? Emma whispered. I don't know, Lily admitted. My mom says you were really brave. I was really scared. That's what brave is, Emma said. Being scared but doing the thing anyway. After Emma left, Lily held Mr. Sparkles and thought about bravery. She didn't feel brave. She felt small and tired and angry that this was happening at all. Bull sat down on the couch next to her, the cushions sinking under his weight. Your friend's smart, he said. About what? About bravery. Most people think bravery means not being afraid. But that's not right. Bravery is being terrified and still putting one foot in front of the other. You did that every day for weeks, even when no one believed you. That's real courage. I just want this to be over, Lily said. I know. But Lily, I need to tell you something, and I need you to really hear me. This might not be over quickly. Bad things take time to fix. The FBI has to build their case carefully so that when they arrest Henley and whoever else is involved, those people stay arrested. That means gathering evidence, interviewing witnesses, connecting dots. It's not like TV where everything resolves in an hour. How long? Could be weeks, could be months. Lily's chest tightened. I have to stay home for months. No, we'll figure out how to get you back to school safely. But you have to understand your life is going to be different for a while. You're going to have to be more careful, more aware. You're going to have adults around you more than you're used to. And that's not because you did anything wrong. It's because we're making sure nothing wrong happens to you. Lily nodded, throat tight. That night, Jax took over the watch shift. Lily saw him through her bedroom window, sitting on his motorcycle 2 houses down, still as a statue. She couldn't sleep. At 1 a.m, she went downstairs. Her father was still awake, sitting at the kitchen table with paperwork spread in front of him. Can't sleep either, he asked. Lily shook her head. He patted the chair next to him and she climbed up. For a while they just sat together in the quiet house. Dad. Yeah, Pumpkin. Why didn't anyone believe me? He was quiet for a long time. Because we didn't want it to be true, he finally said. Your mom and I, we work hard to give you a safe life, a good life. And when you told us someone was threatening, that it was easier to believe you were mistaken than to believe danger was that close. That's not an excuse. That's just the truth. But I kept telling you. I know. And we kept dismissing you. We failed you, Lily. We're your parents, and our job is to protect you, and we didn't do that. We're going to have to live with that. Lily reached over and took his hand. You're protecting me now. His breath hitched. We're trying. That's what Bull said. Trying is what matters. Her father pulled her into a hug, holding her so tight she could barely breathe, and she felt him shaking with silent tears. The next morning brought news. Agent Carson called at 7 a.m. Bull, who'd returned for the morning shift, answered speakerphone in the kitchen while Lily's family gathered around. "We've identified 3 more potential victims," Carson said without preamble. 2 in Brookhaven, 1 in Grove City. All girls between 7 and 10 years old. All with similar patterns. Man in a white van near school routes watching behaviors documentation. Lily's mother put her hand over her mouth. "We're interviewing the families now. We're also serving warrants on Henley's residence and vehicle. We expect to find significant evidence." "Have you located Henley himself?" Bull asked. "Not yet, but we will." After Carson hung up, Lily's father turned to her. 3 more girls, 3 more families who didn't believe their kids. Or maybe they did and reported it and nothing happened, Bull said quietly. "System's not perfect. Sometimes kids fall through cracks." "So what do we do?" Lily's mother asked. "We keep Lily safe. We help the FBI however they need, and we trust the process." Bull looked at Lily. "You okay, warrior? There are other girls like me." "Seems that way. Are they okay?" "FBI's working on making sure they are." Lily thought about 3 other girls who'd been scared and maybe hadn't been believed either. She thought about purple sneakers and white vans and men with cameras. "I want to help," she said. "You are helping," Bull told her. "Your information is helping build the case. Your bravery is helping other kids come forward. But I want to do more." "Lily," her mother started. "No, let her talk," Bull said. "What do you want to do, Lily?" "I want to tell other kids that if they're scared, they should tell someone. And if that person doesn't believe them, tell someone else. And keep telling until someone listens." Bull smiled, a real smile this time, not just polite encouragement. "That's a powerful thing to want. Let's keep you safe first, then we'll talk about how you can help others." "Deal." Deal. 2 days passed. Lily stayed home, did schoolwork at the kitchen table, and watched through windows as the guardians rotated shifts. Rico brought her a book about motorcycles. Tommy taught her how to play chess. Jax showed her pictures of his daughter, who was 9. "She's beautiful," Lily said. "She's my whole world," Jax replied. "That's why I'm here, because someone's whole world is being threatened, and I have the power to stand between danger and that world. How could I not?" On Thursday afternoon, Detective Mills came by with news. "We executed the warrant on Henley's residence," she said, sitting in the living room with Lily's parents and Bull. Lily sat on the stairs, technically out of sight, but able to hear everything. "What did you find?" Lily's father asked. Mills hesitated. "Evidence that corroborates Lily's account and suggests a broader operation. I can't share details while the investigation is active, but I can tell you that we're now working with FBI's Crimes Against Children Division. This is big." "How big?" Lily's mother whispered. "Multi-state, multi-year, dozens of potential victims." Mills's voice was tight. Henley kept extensive records, photos, schedules, personal information on multiple children. "It's going to take us weeks to process everything." Bull leaned forward. "Sarah, straight talk, is this family still in danger? Henley is in the wind, but we've frozen his bank accounts, flagged his credit cards, issued alerts to all law enforcement in a 3-state area. He can't rent a hotel room, can't buy gas with a card, can't use his phone without us knowing. He's running on cash and luck, and both run out eventually." "That's not an answer." Mills met his eyes. "Yes, this family is still potentially in danger. Henley has nothing to lose now. He knows we're coming for him. Desperate people do desperate things." Lily's mother made a small sound of fear. "Which is why we're maintaining protection," Bull said firmly. 24/7. No gaps. "I've also requested increased patrols in this neighborhood," Mills added. "My captain approved it." After Mills left, Lily came down from the stairs. "I heard everything," she admitted. Her father looked like he wanted to be angry about eavesdropping but was too tired to manage it. "We know Pumpkin. He's still out there." "Yes. And he knows we told on him." "Yes." Lily thought about this. "So now he's extra dangerous." Her mother knelt in front of her. "Baby, we're not going to let anything happen to you. We have Bull and his friends. We have the police. We have the FBI. You are surrounded by people who will protect you." But you can't promise nothing bad will happen. Her mother's face crumpled. No, I can't promise that. I wish I could, but I can't. Lily appreciated the honesty, even though it hurt. That night, Tommy was on watch. Lily saw his silhouette through her window, steady and unmoving. She wondered if he ever got tired. If he ever wanted to just go home and sleep in his own bed instead of sitting on a motorcycle in the cold Pennsylvania night, watching a house that belonged to strangers. She wondered if being a guardian meant never getting to rest. Friday morning, Agent Carson returned with another FBI agent, a woman named Torres who specialized in victim services. Lily. Torres said, her voice kind but professional. I work with children who've been through trauma. I want you to know that what you're feeling right now, scared, angry, confused, all of that is normal and okay. I'm not traumatized, Lily said. Nothing actually happened to me. Torres smiled sadly. Something did happen to you. You were stalked. You were threatened. You were terrorized. And then when you tried to get help, you were dismissed. That's trauma, Lily. It doesn't have to be physical to be real. Lily hadn't thought about it that way. I'd like to meet with you once a week, Torres continued, just to talk, to help you process what you're going through. Would that be okay? Lily looked at her parents, who nodded encouragingly. Okay, she said. Torres pulled out a card with her contact information. You can call me anytime, day or night. If you're scared or sad or angry or anything, you can call me. That's what I'm here for. After Torres left, Bull came inside, unusual for him during the day shift. Family meeting, he said. They gathered in the living room. Bull stood because he always stood, like sitting made him vulnerable. I just got off the phone with Carson, he said. They've identified 6 more children across 3 states who are being surveilled by Henley or his associates. That brings the total to 9 confirmed victims so far, and they're still processing evidence. 9, Lily's father repeated, his voice hollow. 9 that they know about. Could be more. Bull looked at Lily directly. Lily, you're the reason they found this. You're the reason these other kids are getting help now. If you hadn't come to us at that diner, if you hadn't kept pushing even when no one believed you, Henley would still be out there. Those other 8 kids would still be in danger. But he's still out there anyway, Lily said. For now, but we're closing the net. Every day, every hour, the circle gets smaller. He's going to make a mistake, and when he does, we'll have him. And then what? Lily asked. Then he goes to prison for a very long time. But what about the other people? You said there were other people involved. Bull's expression hardened. Then they go to prison too. Every single one of them. Lily's mother spoke up. Bull, I need to ask you something. Why is this so personal for you? The room went quiet. Bull was silent for a long moment, staring at something none of them could see. I had a daughter, he finally said. Had. The word hung in the air like smoke. Her name was Maya. She was 7 when a drunk driver crossed the center line and killed her and my wife instantly. I was deployed in Afghanistan. I got the call while we were running a mission outside Kandahar. By the time I got home, they'd already had the funeral without me. Lily's mother's hand went to her mouth. I couldn't save Maya, Bull continued, his voice rough. Couldn't protect her. Couldn't even be there to say goodbye. But I can be here. I can protect Lily. I can make sure what happened to my daughter doesn't happen to someone else's daughter. So that's what I do. That's what all of us do. We couldn't save the kids in the war zones, couldn't stop all the violence and horror. But we can stop this. We can protect these kids, so we do. Tears ran down Lily's mother's face. Her father stood abruptly and shook Bull's hand, no words necessary. Lily walked over to Bull and hugged him. He went rigid for a second, clearly not used to being hugged, then slowly put one massive hand on her head. I'm sorry about Maya, Lily whispered. Me too, warrior. Me too. That weekend crept by in slow, anxious hours. Lily tried to be normal, tried to watch movies and read books and play games, but normal felt like a costume that didn't fit anymore. On Sunday afternoon, the doorbell rang. Bull checked the peephole, then opened it immediately. Detective Mills stood there with Agent Carson, and both their faces were grim. "We need to talk," Mills said. They gathered in the living room again. Lily started to go upstairs, but Bull said, "She should hear this." Mills glanced at Carson, who nodded reluctantly. "We served warrants on 3 of Henley's known associates this morning," Mills said. 2 in Ohio, 1 in West Virginia. All 3 had evidence of involvement in the surveillance network. We've made arrests. "That's good news, right?" Lily's father said. "It is, but there's more." Mills looked at Lily. "Lily, one of the men we arrested, had photos of you in his possession. Dozens of them going back 6 months. 6 months. Lily's vision swam. "But I only saw the van for a few weeks." "Because he was good at hiding," Carson said. "He'd been watching you much longer than you knew. Different vehicles, different locations, different times of day. He documented your entire routine." Lily's mother made a choking sound. "Why?" Lily's father demanded. "Why her? Why any of these kids?" "Because predators look for vulnerable targets," Carson said bluntly. "Children who walk alone. Children whose parents work and can't always be present. Children in neighborhoods without a lot of traffic or witnesses." Lily checked multiple boxes for them. "Oh my God," Lily's mother whispered. Bull's hand clenched into a fist so tight his knuckles went white. "There's something else," Mills said, and her voice dropped even lower. "The man who had Lily's photos, his name is Dennis Crawford. He's talking. Wants a plea deal. He's given us names, locations, operation details. Henley wasn't the leader of this network. He was mid-level at best." The room seemed to tilt. "How big is this network?" Bull asked, his voice dangerous and quiet. Carson and Mills exchanged glances. "We're now coordinating with FBI offices in Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, and Kentucky," Carson said. "We've identified 15 subjects connected to this operation. Henley and Crawford are just 2 of them." 15, Lily's father breathed. 15 predators working together. Lily's mother's voice pitched up. "How is that even possible?" "The internet makes organization easier than it used to be," Carson said grimly. "Encrypted communications, anonymous forums, dark web marketplaces. These networks exist in every state. We shut down one another, pops up. But this time, thanks to Lily, we have a chance to take down an entire cell." Lily felt dizzy. She'd thought it was just one man, one creep in one van. Not 15 people, not a network, not something organized and intentional and widespread. "Lily," Torres said gently. Lily hadn't even noticed she'd come in with the agents. "I know this is overwhelming, but I want you to hear something important. You are not a victim. You are a survivor. And more than that, you're a warrior who fought back and exposed something evil. That took extraordinary courage." "I just wanted him to stop following me," Lily said, her voice small. "And because you spoke up, he will stop. And 14 other men will stop too. You saved yourself, and you saved other children who don't even know your name. That matters." Bull crouched down in front of Lily. "Do you remember what I told you at the diner about warrior thinking?" Lily nodded. "This is the hardest part of warrior thinking. Seeing the truth even when it's ugly. Understanding the danger even when it's bigger than you expected. But you know what? Warriors don't face danger alone. Warriors fight in units, in teams. And your team," he gestured to her parents, to Mills and Carson, to himself. "Your team is strong. We've got you." Lily looked at all these people in her living room. Adults who'd rearranged their lives to keep her safe. Strangers who'd become protectors. Parents who'd learned to believe. "When can I go back to school?" she asked. Everyone looked surprised by the question. "You want to go back?" her mother asked. "I can't hide forever, and I miss my friends. I miss Miss Rodriguez. I miss normal." "Normal's going to be different for a while," Bull warned. "I know, but it's still better than staying in this house forever." Mills looked at Carson. "We could arrange a controlled environment, increase security at the school, background checks on all staff, protocols for arrival and dismissal." "That's a lot of resources," Carson said. "She's right, though," Mills countered. "She can't live in fear indefinitely. That's letting them win." Bull stood. If she goes back to school, one of us goes with her, inside the building if necessary. That could traumatize other children, Carson said. You know what traumatizes children. Bull's voice went hard. Getting snatched by predators because the adults decided protection was too inconvenient. Carson stared at him. Fine, but it's done by the book. We coordinate with school administration. We have protocols. We don't turn Riverside Elementary into an armed camp. Agreed, though, Bull said. They worked out the details over the next hour. Lily would return to school on Wednesday 5 days away. Bull, or one of the other guardians, would be present at drop-off and pickup. Mills would station an officer nearby. School administration would be briefed on the situation without revealing Lily's identity to other families. After everyone left except Bull, who had evening shift, Lily sat with her parents on the couch. Are you sure about going back to school? Her mother asked. You don't have to. I'm sure, Lily said. I'm scared, but I'm sure. Her father pulled her close. That's my brave girl. Dad. Yeah. I'm not brave. I'm just tired of being scared. That's the same thing, Pumpkin. That's exactly the same thing. Outside, the sun set over Brookhaven, painting the sky purple and orange. Through the window, Lily could see Bull on his motorcycle, vigilant and still. She thought about Maya, the daughter he couldn't save. She thought about the 3 other girls who'd been scared just like her. She thought about the 15 predators out there in the world and the fact that some of them were still free. And she thought about Wednesday when she'd walk back through the doors of Riverside Elementary with her head high and her purple sneakers on, and a guardian angel on a motorcycle watching her back. Because sometimes the scary stories have scary middles. But Lily was beginning to believe they could have different endings. As long as someone was brave enough to stand in the gap between danger and innocence, as long as someone listened when a child said, I'm afraid, as long as someone believed. Wednesday morning arrived cold and sharp. Lily stood in front of her mirror wearing her school uniform and purple sneakers, staring at a reflection that looked the same but felt different. 5 weeks had passed since the white van first appeared. 5 weeks that had aged her in ways that had nothing to do with time. You ready, warrior? Bull's voice came from downstairs. She wasn't, but she went anyway. The ride to school felt surreal. Her father drove while Bull followed on his motorcycle, Rico trailing behind him. Other parents stared as they pulled into the drop-off lane with their leather-jacketed escort, but Lily kept her eyes forward. Principal Davidson met them at the entrance, her face professionally neutral. Lily, welcome back. Mr. Thompson, we've set up a visitor's badge for you at the front office. Appreciated, Bull said. Inside, the hallways felt too bright, too loud, too normal. Kids ran past laughing, lockers slammed. Someone's phone played music until a teacher yelled at them to put it away. Emma appeared at Lily's locker, her face splitting into a huge smile. You're back. I'm back. Are you okay? My mom said I shouldn't ask too many questions, but I wanted to make sure you're okay. I'm okay. The lie came easier than the truth. Miss Rodriguez appeared at the classroom door as students filed in. Her eyes landed on Lily and something complicated passed across her face. Relief, guilt, concern, all mixed together. Lily, can I talk to you for a moment? Lily approached her teacher's desk while the other kids settled into their seats. I owe you an apology, Miss Rodriguez said quietly. When you tried to tell me about the van, I didn't take you seriously enough. I thought you were being anxious. I was wrong and I'm sorry. It's okay. It's not okay. But I'm grateful you're safe. And I want you to know that this classroom is a safe space. If you ever feel uncomfortable or scared, you come to me immediately. No question is too small. No concern is too silly. I will always believe you now. Always. Lily knotted her throat tight. The morning crawled by in fits and starts. Math felt impossible. Reading comprehension might as well have been written in another language. At recess, Lily stood against the fence watching other kids play, feeling like she was observing from behind glass. Emma came over. Want to play hopscotch? Not really. Want to just talk? About what? Anything or nothing. I don't care. I just missed you. They sat together on the bench near the playground equipment, not talking much, but Emma's presence felt like an anchor, keeping Lily from floating away entirely. At lunch, 3 girls from 4th grade approached Lily's table. "Is it true you got kidnapped?" one asked, her eyes wide. "No," Lily said, "but there was a man following you, and the FBI came to your house. How do you know that?" "Everyone knows. My mom told my sister who told me." "I wasn't kidnapped. I'm fine." But the girls kept pressing, kept asking questions, kept turning her trauma into gossip until finally Emma stood up. "Leave her alone. We're just asking." "Well, stop asking. She doesn't want to talk about it." The girls left whispering to each other. Lily looked at Emma. "Thanks. That's what friends do." After school, Bull was waiting at the pickup zone, his motorcycle gleaming in the afternoon sun. Other parents stared. Some whispered. A few pulled their children a little closer. "How was it?" Bull asked as they waited for her father. "Hard. First day back always is. Everyone keeps asking questions. People are curious. It's human nature. But you don't owe anyone your story, Lily. Not your classmates, not their parents, not anybody. Your story belongs to you." Her father pulled up and the convoy headed home. Car, motorcycle, same as morning, but reversed. That evening, Detective Mills came by with news that made everyone go silent. "We've arrested 12 of the 15 subjects," she said, standing in the living room because sitting felt wrong for what she had to say. "Coordinated raids this morning across 5 states. Simultaneous takedowns at 6 a.m. We recovered over 10,000 images and hundreds of videos from their devices." Lily's mother made a sound like she'd been punched. "How many victims?" Bull asked, his voice deadly calm. "We're still processing everything, but preliminary count is 47 children across multiple states, ages 5 to 12, various stages of surveillance and grooming." 47, Lily's father repeated numbly. "Your daughter's case broke this wide open," Mills said, looking at Lily directly. "If you hadn't come forward, if you hadn't pushed until someone listened, these men would still be operating. Those 47 children would still be at risk." "What about the other 3? Bull asked. "The 3 who weren't arrested?" Mills's expression darkened. "Still at large. Henley is one of them. The other 2 are brothers Michael and David Preston. They're considered the ringleaders of this particular network." "Ringleaders," Lily's mother whispered. "This had leaders." "Organized crime is organized, Mrs. Jenkins. These networks have hierarchies, rules, distribution channels. The Prestons ran operations across Pennsylvania and Ohio. Henley was one of their ground-level operators. The fact that he targeted your daughter suggests they were actively recruiting new victims for their network." Lily felt sick. She'd thought about Henley so much over the past weeks that he'd become almost abstract, a boogeyman, a nightmare. But he'd been working for someone, following orders, part of something bigger and darker than she'd imagined. "What happens now?" her father asked. "Now we build airtight cases against all 12 in custody. Federal charges, state charges, everything we can throw at them. The prosecutors are talking decades for some life sentences for others. But we still need to find the Preston brothers and Henley before they disappear completely, or worse, relocate and continue their activities elsewhere." "They do that?" Lily asked. "Just move somewhere else and start again." "That's exactly what they do," Mills said. "Predators don't stop. They adapt. They find new hunting grounds, which is why catching them is so critical." After Mills left, Lily sat on the couch with Mr. Sparkles clutched to her chest, while her parents spoke in urgent whispers in the kitchen. Bull stood at the window, his silhouette massive against the evening light. "Bull," Lily said quietly. He turned. "Yeah, warrior, 47 kids. I know. That's more than my whole class. I know. Did I really help all of them?" Bull crossed the room and sat down beside her, the couch groaning under his weight. "Yes. Every single one. Because you were brave enough to speak up. Those kids are getting help now. Their families know what was happening. The predators hunting them are in jail. That's all because of you. But 3 are still out there. For now. But we're getting closer every day. How do you know? Because desperate men make mistakes. And Henley, the Prestons, they're desperate now. They know we're coming. They're running on fumes and fear. Eventually they'll slip up. And then what? Then we end this. That night, Lily lay in bed trying to sleep, but kept seeing 47 faces she'd never met. 47 children who'd been scared like her, who maybe told adults who didn't believe them, who walked to school looking over their shoulders. Thursday at school was marginally better. The gossip had died down, replaced by the next drama, something about who liked who and who said what at recess. Lily was grateful to fade back into normalcy, even if that normalcy felt fragile as glass. But Friday shattered it. Lily was in math class trying to focus on fractions when Principal Davidson appeared at the door. She whispered something to Miss Rodriguez, whose face went pale. "Lily, honey, you need to come with Principal Davidson." Every head in the classroom turned. Lily's stomach dropped. She followed Principal Davidson into the hallway where Bull was already waiting, his face grim. "What's wrong?" Lily asked immediately. "Nothing's wrong with you, but we need to get you home, now." They didn't speak during the drive. Bull followed her father's car closely, and when they pulled into the driveway, Detective Mills and Agent Carson were already there, along with 2 police cruisers Lily didn't recognize. Inside, her mother sat at the kitchen table crying while Torres held her hand. "What happened?" Lily demanded, her voice louder than she intended. Carson looked at her parents, who nodded permission. "Dennis Crawford escaped custody during a hospital transfer this morning," Carson said. "He overpowered a guard and fled. We have a manhunt underway, but we don't know his current location." The man with Lily's photos, the man who'd been documenting her for 6 months, gone. "He knows where we live," Lily's mother said through tears. "He has our address, our routine, everything. Which is why we're implementing enhanced security measures immediately," Mills said. "Patrol units on your street 24/7. Officers inside the house if you want them. And we're recommending temporary relocation until we recapture Crawford." "Relocation?" Lily's father looked stunned. "You mean leave our home? Just temporarily. We have safe houses." "No." Bull's voice cut through the chaos. "They're not going into some anonymous safe house where they're isolated and scared. They stay here. We increase protection. We fortify this location. But you don't uproot this family from the only stable ground they have left." Carson bristled. "Mr. Thompson, this isn't your call." "You're right. It's their call." Bull looked at Lily's parents. "But I'm telling you, running doesn't make you safer. It makes you feel powerless. You stay here, you're on home turf. You know the neighbors, you know the streets, you know every entrance and exit. You go to some government facility and God knows where you're isolated and dependent on protection. You can't verify. I've been in enough war zones to know which situation is tactically superior." Lily's parents looked at each other, communicating silently. "We stay," her father said firmly, "but we take every protection you're offering." The house transformed over the next 3 hours. Officers installed new locks. Cameras went up on every corner. Motion sensors covered the yard. Mills arranged for patrol units to park visibly on their street, changing positions every 2 hours to prevent pattern recognition. The Guardians went into overdrive. Bull, Rico, Jax, and Tommy shifted to 2-hour rotations instead of 4-hour ones, meaning 2 of them were always present instead of 1. They positioned themselves strategically, 1 in front, 1 in back eyes on all approaches. That night, Lily didn't even try to sleep. She sat at her window watching Tommy in front and Rico in back, their motorcycles like sentinels. Around 2 a.m., her father appeared at her door. "Can't sleep either?" he asked. "No." He came in and sat on the edge of her bed. For a while, they just existed together in the silence. "I'm scared, Dad." "Me too, pumpkin. But you're a grown-up. You're not supposed to be scared." "Where'd you get that idea grown-ups get scared all the time? We just get better at functioning while scared." "Is that what you're doing, functioning while scared? Every minute of every day since this started. But you know what? I'd rather be scared and proactive than comfortable and complacent. Fear is useful if you use it right. It keeps you alert, keeps you sharp." Bull says the same thing. Her father smiled slightly. "Bull's a smart man. Did you know he called me yesterday?" "About what?" "To check how I was doing. Not you, not your mom, me." He said fathers carry a special kind of guilt when their daughters are in danger. He was right. I keep thinking about all the times I dismissed your concerns, all the mornings I sent you out that door alone, all the ways I failed you. You didn't fail me, Dad. You made a mistake. That's different. He looked at her with surprise. When did you get so wise? Bull says that too, about mistakes being different from failures. We need to get Bull to write a book. They laughed and it felt good, strange and inappropriate maybe, but good. Saturday brought more news. Agent Carson called at 8 a.m. to say they'd found Crawford's abandoned car near the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. He's running south, Carson said over speakerphone. We have checkpoints, but he had a 12-hour head start. Could be anywhere by now. So he's not coming here? Lily's mother asked, hope creeping into her voice. We can't assume that. He could be running to avoid capture, or he could be circling back. We proceed as if he's still a threat until we have him in custody. What about Henley and the Prestons? Bull asked. Still no concrete leads on Henley. The Prestons were spotted in West Virginia 3 days ago, but we lost them. We're monitoring their known associates, their families, any properties they have access to. It's only a matter of time. Time. That word again. Everything took time. Sunday afternoon, Torres came by for a session with Lily. They sat in the living room while her parents pretended not to hover in the kitchen. How are you holding up? Torres asked. I don't know. Everyone keeps asking me that, and I don't know what to say. You could just say that. I don't know. That's a valid answer. But it feels weak. Why? Because I should know how I feel. Says who, Lily? You're 8 years old, dealing with things most adults never have to face. You're allowed to not have all the answers. You're allowed to be confused and scared and angry and tired all at the same time. I am tired, so tired. I know. Trauma is exhausting. Your body is in constant alert mode, flooding you with stress hormones, keeping you hypervigilant. That takes energy. It's okay to be tired. When does it stop? Torres was quiet for a moment. The acute fear will fade once these men are caught. But recovery is a journey, not a destination. You'll have good days and bad days. Days where you feel strong and days where you feel scared. That's normal. I don't want normal to mean scared. Then we work together to redefine normal, to build a life where fear doesn't control you, where you control the fear. After Torres left, Lily found Bull outside checking the perimeter. Bull, can I ask you something? Always. After Maya died, were you scared all the time? He stopped walking, considering the question. Yeah, I was terrified. Terrified I'd lose someone else. Terrified I'd forget her face or her voice. Terrified that her death was meaningless. But you're not scared now. I didn't say that, I'm still scared. But I learned to make fear work for me instead of against me. Fear keeps me sharp when I'm protecting someone. Fear reminds me what's at stake. Fear is fuel if you use it right. How do you use it right? You acknowledge it. You don't pretend it doesn't exist, but you don't let it make your decisions. You feel the fear and then you do what needs doing anyway. That sounds hard. It is hard, but you know what? You're already doing it. You went back to school even though you were scared. You're sleeping in your own bed even though there's danger out there. You're living your life despite fear. That's using it right. Monday morning, Lily returned to school with her escort. The routine felt familiar now, car, motorcycles, stares from other parents. But familiarity bred a dangerous sense of security. At recess, while Emma and Lily played on the swings, a man approached the fence. He wore a maintenance uniform and carried a clipboard, looking official and unremarkable. He smiled at the kids playing. Hey there, which one of you is Lily Jenkins? Every instinct Lily had developed over the past week screamed. She dropped from the swing and ran. Miss Rodriguez! She yelled, sprinting toward the teacher on duty. Miss Rodriguez, that man! But when Miss Rodriguez turned to look, the man was already walking away, quickly disappearing around the corner of the building. Miss Rodriguez grabbed her radio. Security to the west fence now. Possible intruder. Within seconds, the school resource officer appeared, followed by Bull, who'd been waiting in the parking lot. They chased the man, but he'd vanished. Principal Davidson locked down the school immediately. Parents received automated calls. Police swarmed the building. And Lily sat in the office shaking while her mother drove frantically from home and her father left work mid-shift. "Did you recognize him?" Detective Mills asked, crouched in front of Lily. "No, but he knew my name. He asked which kid was me." Mills's face went hard. "Description: tall, brown hair, blue maintenance uniform. He had a clipboard." Mills stepped aside, speaking urgently into her phone. Bull appeared, his presence solid and reassuring despite the chaos. "You did exactly right," he told Lily. "You trusted your instincts, you ran, you got help, perfect execution. But he got away. This time. But we know what he looks like now. School has cameras. We'll get him." Lily's parents arrived within minutes of each other, both pale and frantic. "We're pulling her out of school," her mother said immediately. "This isn't safe." "Mrs. Jenkins," Principal Davidson started. "No, someone just walked up to the fence and asked for my daughter by name. This school can't protect her." Agent Carson appeared. Apparently he'd been nearby when the call came in. "We're reviewing camera footage now," he said. "But Mrs. Jenkins, I need you to understand something. These men are desperate. They're cornered animals. They know we're closing in, and they're making bold moves because they have nothing to lose. Pulling Lily out of school won't change that. Hiding won't change that. We need to catch them, and to do that, we need to keep building our case while keeping your family protected." "Protected?" Lily's mother's voice pitched high. "A man just walked onto school property and asked for her by name. That's not protection. That's a failure," Carson admitted. "Our failure. We should have had better coverage of the school perimeter. We'll fix that. But isolating Lily completely isn't the answer. It's what they want, for her to be scared, isolated, easier to eventually access." Bull stepped forward. "I have a proposal." Everyone looked at him. "Lily stays in school, but one of us is inside the building with her. Not in the classroom necessarily, but close enough to respond in seconds. We coordinate with school security, with local PD, with your agents. We create a perimeter that can't be breached." "I can't authorize civilians inside the school building during school hours," Principal Davidson said. "Then authorize us as volunteer security. We all have clearances, we all have experience, we won't disrupt classes, we'll just be present." Principal Davidson looked at Agent Carson, who nodded slowly. "I'll allow it," she said. "But strict protocols. Background checks for all 4 of you. You stay out of sight of other students as much as possible. And the second this becomes disruptive to our educational environment, it stops." "Understood," Bull said. Lily's parents looked at each other, that silent communication happening again. "Okay," her father said finally. "But the second anything else happens, we're done. We'll homeschool, we'll relocate, we'll do whatever it takes. Our daughter's life is not negotiable." That afternoon, Lily went home early. She sat on the couch with Mr. Sparkles while her parents talked in low, urgent voices with Bull, Mills, Carson, and Principal Davidson. They were building a fortress around her. Walls of protection made of cameras and protocols and leather-jacketed guardians. But Lily couldn't shake the feeling that walls only worked until someone found a way through. That night, her father sat on the edge of her bed again. "Pumpkin, your mom and I have been talking. If you want to stop going to school, if you want us to move somewhere else, if you want anything different than what we're doing now, you tell us. This is your life. You get a say." "I want to go to school." "Why? After what happened today, why?" "Because if I stop, they win. They want me scared and hiding. Bull said fear is useful if I use it right. So I'm using it right. I'm scared, but I'm going anyway." Her father's eyes filled with tears. "When did my little girl get so brave? When no one believed me and I had to save myself." He pulled her into a hug so tight it hurt, and she heard him crying quietly against her hair. Tuesday morning came too fast. Lily walked into Riverside Elementary with her father on one side and Bull on the other. Inside, Bull stayed near the front office, visible but not intrusive. Other parents whispered. Other kids stared. But Lily walked to her classroom with her head high and her purple sneakers on and fear running through her veins like electricity. She was done hiding. She was done letting monsters decide how she lived. She was done being a victim. From now on, she was something else. Something stronger. Something that had looked evil in the face and said, "Not today, Not ever, not me. A warrior, just like Bull said. But being a warrior didn't stop the nightmares. That night, Lily woke up screaming. Her mother burst through the door, flipping on lights, pulling Lily into her arms while she sobbed incoherently about men at fences and white vans and cameras pointed at her face. "It's okay, baby. It's okay. You're safe. You're home. No one can get you here." But the words felt hollow because they'd said the same thing before the man showed up at the school fence. Bull appeared in the doorway, still wearing his jacket he'd been on watch. "Bad dream?" he asked quietly. Lily nodded, unable to speak through the tears. "Want to talk about it?" She shook her head. "Okay. But Lily, listen to me. Dreams can't hurt you. They're just your brain trying to process fear. They feel real, but they're not. The real world is out here where your mom's holding you and I'm standing guard and nothing bad is happening. Focus on what's real. What if the real world is worse than the dreams?" Bull came into the room and crouched by her bed. "Then we change the real world, and we're doing that. Every day, every hour, we're making it safer. You hear me?" She nodded again, her breathing starting to slow. After Bull returned to his watch and her mother tucked her back in, Lily lay awake staring at the ceiling. She wondered if the other 46 kids had nightmares too, if they woke up screaming, if their parents held them and promised safety they couldn't guarantee. Wednesday morning brought news that made everyone stop breathing. Detective Mills called at 6 a.m., and Lily's father put her on speaker before she could even say hello. "We found Crawford." "Alive?" Bull asked. He'd come inside for the call. "Dead. Apparent suicide in a motel room outside Baltimore. Left a note confessing to his involvement in the network and naming names." Lily's mother sat down hard. "He's dead. Medical examiner confirmed it 2 hours ago, but here's what matters. The note he left gave us locations, methods, other participants we didn't know about. It's a roadmap to the entire operation." "Why would he do that?" Lily's father asked. "Guilt, fear, who knows? But whatever his motivation, he just handed us everything we need to take down this network completely." Carson's voice came through in the background. "Mrs. Jenkins, Mr. Jenkins, we're moving on this intelligence immediately. We're executing warrants within the hour. By tonight, we expect to have all remaining subjects in custody." "Including Henley." Bull's voice was steel. "Including Henley and the Preston brothers. Crawford's note placed them at a property in rural Ohio. We've got tactical teams moving into position now." Lily felt something loosen in her chest. Not relief exactly, but something close to it. "What does this mean for Lily?" her mother asked. "It means the immediate threat is significantly reduced," Mills said carefully. "But we won't know for certain until we have all three in custody. For now, maintain current security protocols." After the call ended, Lily's parents just held each other in the kitchen while Bull stepped outside to coordinate with Rico and Jax. Lily went to school that day in a daze. The letters on the board might as well have been hieroglyphics. Emma kept asking if she was okay, and Lily kept saying yes because she didn't know how to explain that she was stuck between terror and hope, with no idea which way to fall. At lunch, Principal Davidson pulled her out of the cafeteria. "Lily, Detective Mills asked me to tell you that the operation is underway. She can't share details, but she wanted you to know they're making progress." "Okay. How are you doing? Really?" "I don't know. Everyone keeps asking me that." Principal Davidson smiled sadly. "Because we care. Because what you've been through would break most adults, and you're still standing. That's remarkable." "I don't feel remarkable. I feel tired." Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. That afternoon at 2:15, Agent Carson appeared at the school. Principal Davidson, Bull, and Lily's parents were called to the conference room. Lily sat outside swinging her legs, trying not to throw up from anxiety. Bull emerged first, his face unreadable. "Lily, come here." She stood on shaking legs. He crouched down to her level he always did, that always met her eye to eye. They got him. They got all three of them. Henley Michael Preston, David Preston. Simultaneous raids. All in custody. It's over. Lily's knees buckled. Bull caught her, holding her up while the world spun. "It's over," she whispered. "The immediate danger is over. There's still investigation, still trials, still a lot of legal process. But the men who were hunting you are in federal custody. They can't hurt you anymore." Her parents rushed out, both crying, pulling her into a group hug that squeezed the breath from her lungs. Through the conference room door, Lily could see Carson on the phone, Mills wiping her eyes, Principal Davidson with her hand over her heart. "We can go home?" Lily asked. "We can go home," her father confirmed. "No more guards, no more escorts, no more living in fear." But that night, when they actually did go home, just the three of them. No motorcycles following, no officers posted outside. The silence felt wrong. Lily kept looking out windows expecting to see Bull or Rico or Jax or Tommy, but there was nothing. Just empty street and darkness. "You okay, Pumpkin?" her father asked. "It's too quiet." "That's what safe sounds like. It just takes getting used to." Bull called at 8 p.m. "Just checking in," he said when Lily's mother answered on speaker. "Making sure you're all settling okay." "It's strange," her mother admitted. "Good strange, but strange." "That's normal. You've been in crisis mode for weeks. Your nervous system doesn't just shut that off because the danger's gone. Give yourselves time to adjust." "Bull..." Lily said thank you for everything. For believing me when no one else did. For keeping us safe. For... Her voice broke. "Hey now," Bull said gently. "You don't thank warriors for doing what warriors do. But you're welcome anyway. And Lily, you ever need anything at all, you call me. Day or night. That doesn't stop just because the immediate threat is over. You're one of us now. That's permanent." "One of us?" "The Guardians. We're adopting you as an honorary member. We'll make you a patch and everything." Lily smiled through tears. "I'd like that." After they hung up, Lily's parents sat on either side of her on the couch. "We failed you," her father said quietly. "When you came to us scared, we dismissed you. We made you feel crazy when you were being rational. We sent you out there alone when you needed protection. And I don't know if we can ever make that right." "You believe me eventually," Lily said. "Eventually isn't good enough. You shouldn't have had to go through hell before we took you seriously. But I did go through it, and I survived it, and now other kids are safer because of it. Torres says I can choose to let this destroy me or define me. I'm choosing define." Her mother pulled her close. "When did you get so much wiser than us?" "When I had to be." The next few days blurred together. News crews descended on Brookhaven wanting interviews. Lily's parents refused all of them. Agent Carson held a press conference announcing the arrests and the scope of the network without naming victims. 47 children were being actively targeted by this organization, he said to a room full of reporters. "Thanks to the courage of one child who refused to be silent, we were able to dismantle the entire operation. 15 adults are now in federal custody facing charges that will likely result in life sentences. This is how communities are supposed to work: children speaking up, civilians taking action, law enforcement following through." A reporter asked, "Can you name the child who came forward?" "Absolutely not. This child and all victims in this case are being protected under federal law. But I will say this, she's 8 years old and she has more courage than most people I've served with in 20 years of law enforcement." At school the next Monday, whispers followed Lily everywhere. Everyone knew someone involved had gone to Riverside Elementary. Everyone speculated about who it was. But Principal Davidson had made it clear anyone caught harassing students about the case would be suspended immediately. Emma walked beside Lily between classes, her presence a shield against curiosity. "You don't have to protect me," Lily said. "I'm not protecting you, I'm being your friend. There's a difference." "What's the difference?" "Protection is about keeping you safe. Friendship is about keeping you company. You're already safe. Now you just need company while you figure out what normal feels like again." At lunch, Miss Rodriguez pulled Lily aside. "I've been talking with Principal Davidson and the school counselor. We think it might help other students if we did an age-appropriate discussion about safety and speaking up when something feels wrong. We'd never use your name or your situation specifically, but we think the lessons from what happened could help other kids. Would you be comfortable with that? What would you say? That trusting your instincts is important, that adults don't always get it right the first time, but you should keep trying until someone listens. that there's no such thing as a stupid concern when it comes to safety. Things like that. Lily thought about the 3 other girls in Brookhaven who'd been targeted, about the 44 others across 5 states, about all the future kids who might face something similar. Yes, she said, do it. 2 weeks after the arrests, Torres brought someone new to their session, a woman named Dr. Patricia Chen, who specialized in trauma recovery. Lily, doctor, Chen said. Agent Torres tells me you've been incredibly strong through all of this, but I want to talk to you about what comes next, about processing what happened and building healthy coping mechanisms for the future. I thought it was over. The immediate danger is over, but trauma has a timeline all its own. Some days you'll feel fine. Some days you'll feel like you're back in that moment on the street with the van. Both are normal. Both are okay. What matters is learning to manage those moments when they come. How? We'll work on that together. Grounding techniques, cognitive reframing, building a narrative that gives you power over your story instead of letting your story have power over you. Over the next month, Lily saw Dr. Chen twice a week. They talked about fear and courage and the difference between the two. They talked about nightmares and how to quiet them. They talked about anger, the rage Lily felt at the men who'd stolen her sense of safety, at the adults who hadn't believed her, at the universe for letting this happen at all. Anger is okay, Dr. Chen said. Anger is healthy. It means you know you deserved better. Use that anger. Let it fuel your recovery, not poison it. 6 weeks after the arrests, the Guardians held a ceremony at Joe's diner. All 4 men were there, Bull, Rico, Jax, Tommy, along with Lily and her parents, Detective Mills, and a dozen other people Lily didn't recognize. Bull stood up his presence, commanding the room. We're here today to honor someone who exemplifies what the Guardians stand for. Someone who faced danger with courage, who refused to be silenced, who saved not just herself, but dozens of other children. Lily Jenkins, come up here. Lily walked to the front, her heart pounding. Bull held out a leather patch, the Guardian insignia with honorary member stitched beneath it. This doesn't make you a biker, he said, smiling. You're 8, and that would be illegal, but it makes you family. It means wherever you go, whatever you face, you've got warriors at your back. It means you're one of us now, forever. He pinned the patch to her jacket, a new denim one her parents had bought for the occasion. The room erupted in applause. Lily's mother sobbed. Her father put his arm around her, his own eyes wet. Speech, Rico called out. Lily's throat closed. She'd never given a speech before. Bull leaned down. Just speak from your heart, warrior. She took a breath. I used to think no one would believe me. I thought being scared meant I was weak. I thought I had to save myself because no one else would. But I was wrong. Belief came eventually. Scared doesn't mean weak. It means you see danger clearly. And I didn't save myself alone. Bull and Rico and Jax and Tommy saved me. Detective Mills saved me. Agent Carson saved me. My parents learned to save me. We all saved each other. That's what families do. And I'm really glad you're my family now. More applause, louder this time. Afterward, over cake and coffee, strangers approached to thank her. A woman whose daughter had been one of the other victims. A man whose niece had been targeted years ago by a different predator. A teacher who worked with at-risk kids. You gave them hope, the teacher said. You showed them that speaking up matters, that they matter. Lily nodded, not trusting herself to speak. That night, lying in bed with Mr. Sparkles, Lily heard her parents talking in the hallway. She's different now, her mother said. Of course she is. How could she not be? No, I mean she's stronger, more sure of herself. Like she knows something most kids her age don't. She does. She knows she can survive the worst and come out the other side. She knows her voice matters. She knows evil is real, but so is good. Those are things most people don't learn until they're much older, if ever. I wish she'd never had to learn them. Me too. But she did. So now we help her use that knowledge without letting it harden her. We help her stay brave without becoming cynical. We help her trust again without being naive. That's asking a lot. She's already done a lot. She can handle it. Lily closed her eyes, letting their voices wash over her. 3 months after the arrests, the first trial began. Crawford was dead, but the other 14 faced justice. Prosecutors decided to try the Preston brothers first. They were the ringleaders, the organizers, the ones with the most evidence against them. "You'll likely have to testify eventually," Agent Carson told Lily and her parents at a meeting in his office. "Not for the Prestons, your case is primarily against Henley, but when Henley's trial comes up, the prosecution will want your testimony. You'd testify via closed-circuit video, not in open court. But it's still difficult." "Will I have to see him?" Lily asked. "No, he won't be able to see you either. It's designed to protect child witnesses." "When? Probably not for another 6 months. These cases move slowly." Lily nodded. She'd learned that everything moves slowly. Recovery, justice, healing. Nothing happened on TV timelines. The Preston brothers were convicted in February, both receiving multiple life sentences without possibility of parole. The news made national headlines. Reporters called the case the largest child predator network bust in Pennsylvania history. Other trials followed. One by one, the 14 remaining defendants faced justice. Some took plea deals. Some went to trial. All were convicted. All received decades behind bars. And then 8 months after that rainy Friday morning when everything changed, came Henley's trial. The prosecutors prepped Lily carefully. They showed her the video setup. They explained how cross-examination worked. They promised she'd have breaks whenever she needed them. "You don't have to do this," her mother said the night before. "They have enough evidence without your testimony. They're just being thorough." "I want to do it," Lily said. "I want him to know that I'm not scared anymore, that he didn't break me." "Baby, no one thinks you're broken. I think it sometimes, when I have nightmares, when I see a white van and my heart races, when I have to check the locks 3 times before I can sleep. But standing up in court, even through a video, that's me proving I'm not broken. That's me taking my power back." Her father hugged her. "You never lost your power, Pumpkin. You just learned how strong it was." The day of her testimony, Torres came with them to the courthouse. Bull was there too, waiting outside the testimony room, his presence solid and reassuring. "You ready, warrior?" he asked. "I think so. Remember, you're not on trial. He is. You're just telling the truth. That's all anyone can ask of you." Inside the small room, Lily sat in front of a camera. A monitor showed the courtroom, the judge, the jury, the prosecutors, the defense attorneys. And Henley sitting at the defense table in an orange jumpsuit, his face gaunt and defeated. He looked smaller than she remembered, less terrifying, just a pathetic man who'd preyed on children and was finally facing consequences. The prosecutor's voice came through the speakers. "Please state your name for the record." "Lily Marie Jenkins." "Lily, I know this is difficult, but I need you to tell the jury what happened starting on the first Monday in October. Take your time." And Lily did. She told them about the van appearing, about telling her parents and not being believed, about the man getting out on Tuesday, about Friday in the rain when he said her name, about going to the diner and finding Bull, about everything that followed. She spoke clearly. She didn't cry. She looked directly at the camera, imagining she was looking at the jury, making them understand. When the defense attorney cross-examined her, trying to suggest she'd been confused or mistaken, Lily didn't waver. "Sir, I know what I saw. I know what I felt. I know when someone is watching you with bad intentions. And I know the difference between being scared for no reason and being scared because there's something to be scared of. He was there. He followed me. He threatened me. That's not confusion. That's truth." The defense attorney had no response to that. When her testimony ended, Torres met her outside the room and pulled her into a hug. "You were amazing. So strong. So clear. You did exactly what you needed to do." Bull was there too, crouching down to her level one more time. "Proud of you, warrior." "Was it enough? Will they convict him?" "Lily, with the evidence they have, plus your testimony, he's done. He'll spend the rest of his life in prison. You made sure of that." The jury deliberated for 3 hours. The verdict came back guilty on all counts. Henley was sentenced to life without parole plus 90 years, the judge wanting to send a message that children were off limits and predators would face maximum consequences. That night, Lily's family celebrated quietly at home with takeout pizza and ice cream. Bull and the other guardians stopped by briefly congratulating her and reminding her she'd always have family in them. After everyone left, Lily sat with her parents in the living room. "Is it really over now?" she asked. "The legal part is," her father said. "The healing part takes longer." "How much longer?" "As long as it needs to." Lily thought about that, about timelines and recovery and what normal meant now. "I think I'm okay with that," she said finally. "I think I'm okay with it taking time. Because I'm not in a hurry anymore. I'm not running from anything. I'm just living." Her mother kissed the top of her head. "That's all we want for you, baby. Just to live. Just to be a kid again." "I don't think I can be the same kid I was before." "No. But maybe you can be a better one. A stronger one. A braver one." "A warrior," Lily said, touching the guardian patch on her jacket. "Exactly. A warrior." Outside, the night was quiet and still. No motorcycles keeping watch, no danger lurking. Just peace, fragile and new, but real. Lily closed her eyes and felt something she hadn't felt in months. Safe. Not because nothing bad could ever happen again. Life didn't work that way. But because she knew she could face it if it did. Because she had people who believed her. Because she'd learned that speaking up mattered. Because she was stronger than she'd ever imagined possible. Because she was believed at last. And that made all the difference. But safe didn't mean the same as healed. 2 weeks after Henley's conviction, Lily woke up screaming again. The nightmares had been quiet for a while, dormant like something waiting. And then they came roaring back worse than before. Her mother found her huddled in the corner of her room, shaking so hard her teeth chattered. "He's coming back. He got out. He knows where I am." "Lily, baby, he's in prison. He can't get out. He's locked away forever." "But what if he does? What if they all do? What if—" Her mother held her until the shaking stopped, until reality settled back in, until Lily could breathe without gasping. "I thought I was better," Lily whispered. "You are better, but better doesn't mean done. Dr. Chen warned us about this. Remember, trauma doesn't heal in straight lines." The next morning, Lily called Bull. She'd never used the number before, never needed to, but now she dialed it with trembling fingers. "Lily, everything okay? I had a nightmare, a really bad one. Want to talk about it?" She told him about the dream, about Henley escaping, about the van appearing again, about being 8 years old forever and never feeling safe. Bull listened without interrupting. When she finished, he was quiet for a moment. "Lily, you know what the hardest part of being a warrior is?" "What?" "Admitting you're still scared even after the battle's over. Soldiers come home from war and people expect them to just be fine. But your body doesn't know the war ended. Your nervous system is still on high alert, still scanning for threats that aren't there anymore. That's not weakness. That's biology. So I'm always going to be like this. No, you're going to learn to manage it. To recognize when your brain is lying to you about danger. To ground yourself in what's real instead of what's feared. But it takes time and work and patience with yourself. I'm tired of being patient. I know, but impatience won't speed up healing. It'll just make you angry at yourself for not healing fast enough. And you don't deserve that anger." After they hung up, Lily sat on her bed holding Mr. Sparkles and thought about timelines. About how she'd wanted everything to be fixed the moment Henley was arrested, but life didn't work that way. Dr. Chen increased their sessions to 3 times a week. They worked on techniques for managing anxiety, breathing exercises, grounding methods, ways to reality check her fears. When you feel panic coming, Dr. Chen said, "I want you to do something called 5-4-3-2-1. Name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. It brings you back to the present moment." Lily practiced it obsessively. 5 things: her desk, her window, Mr. Sparkles, her backpack, her shoes. 4 things: her bedspread, the carpet, her hair, her shirt. Three things: her father's voice downstairs, a car passing outside the refrigerator humming. Two things: her mother's lavender soap from the bathroom pizza from dinner. One thing: toothpaste still lingering from brushing her teeth. It helped. Not perfectly, not every time, but enough. School became her anchor. The routine, the normalcy, the way Miss Rodriguez never treated her like she was broken. Emma remained her constant companion, never asking questions but always present. 3 months after the trial, Principal Davidson called Lily to her office. "Lily, I've been talking with the Pennsylvania Department of Education. They want to create a program teaching children about safety and speaking up when something feels wrong. They want to call it Lily's Law, not using your full name publicly, just the first name. The law would require schools to take children's safety concerns seriously and follow specific protocols when a child reports feeling threatened. Would you be okay with that?" Lily's throat tightened. "A law named after me, after what you did, after the courage you showed, after the lives you saved. The legislature thinks it would honor your bravery and prevent what happened to you from happening to other kids. What would the law do exactly? It would mandate that schools investigate all reports from children about feeling unsafe. It would require documentation and follow-up. It would create accountability so that children like you aren't dismissed or ignored. It would make believing kids the default instead of the exception." Lily thought about her weeks of trying to be heard, about the adults who'd smiled and patted her head and sent her back out into danger, about the other 46 children who'd been targeted. "Yes," she said, "do it." 6 months later, in the Pennsylvania state capitol, surrounded by legislators and advocates and press, Governor Patterson signed Lily's Law into effect. Lily stood beside her wearing her guardian patch on her denim jacket, her hand in her mother's. "This law exists because one 8-year-old girl refused to be silent," Governor Patterson said into a microphone. "Because she kept speaking up until someone listened. Because she saved not just herself, but dozens of other children. Lily's Law will ensure that every child in Pennsylvania who feels unsafe is taken seriously, is protected, and is believed. That's the legacy of courage this young woman has given us." Reporters asked questions. Lily's parents answered most of them, but one reporter directed a question straight at Lily. "Lily, what do you want other kids to know?" Lily looked at the cameras, at the crowd, at the weight of attention. "I want them to know their voice matters. If something feels wrong, it probably is wrong. Tell someone. And if that person doesn't believe you, tell someone else. Keep telling until someone listens. Because you're not being paranoid or silly or dramatic. You're being smart. Trust yourself." The footage went viral. Within days, Lily's face, or rather the back of her head since they didn't show her face clearly, was on news stations across the country. Other states started drafting similar legislation. But with visibility came complications. People started recognizing her around town, at the grocery store, at the library, at the diner where this had all started. Some people were kind, thanking her, telling her she was brave. Others were intrusive, asking detailed questions about the case, wanting to know how it felt to be stalked, treating her trauma like entertainment. "I hate this," Lily told her parents one night after a particularly bad encounter at the pharmacy, where a woman had cornered her, asking for every detail. "I hate being the girl this happened to." "You're not just the girl this happened to," her father said. "You're the girl who fought back. The girl who saved 46 other kids. The girl who changed laws. That's your story too. But I didn't ask for any of this. I just wanted to walk to school safely." "I know. And that's not fair. None of this is fair. But you get to decide what you do with what happened. You can let it define you as a victim, or you can use it to become something more." Lily thought about that for days, about identity and choice and power. At her next session with Dr. Chen, she brought it up. "Everyone sees me as either a victim or a hero. But I'm just Lily, just a kid who had something bad happen and dealt with it. Why does it have to be more than that?" "It doesn't," Dr. Chen said. "Not unless you want it to be. You get to choose how public or private you are with your story. You get to choose what role this plays in your life going forward. No one else gets to make that choice for you." What if I want to help other kids, but also just want to be normal? Then you do both. You help when and how you want to, and you live your normal life the rest of the time. There's no rule that says you have to be defined by your trauma 24/7. That conversation shifted something in Lily. She started saying no to interview requests. She asked her parents to decline speaking engagements on her behalf. She focused on being 9 years old, playing with Emma, doing homework, learning to ride a bike, properly being a kid. But she also said yes to certain things. When the local YMCA asked if she'd speak to their after-school program about safety, she agreed. When a support group for child trauma survivors asked if she'd share her story, she showed up. When other kids who'd been through similar situations reached out wanting to talk, she talked. She learned to set boundaries, to protect her energy, to give what she could without draining herself dry. A year after the arrest, the Guardians held their annual Veterans event. Lily attended with her parents, wearing her Guardian patch proudly. Bull stood at the podium addressing the crowd of bikers, veterans, families, and community members. This year we protected 47 children from predators. We escorted 12 kids being bullied safely to and from school until the situation was resolved. We rebuilt 3 playgrounds in low-income neighborhoods. We raised $50,000 for veteran mental health services. We did all of this because one little girl walked into a diner and asked for help, and we decided to answer. Lily Jenkins changed this organization. She reminded us why we do what we do. She gave us purpose. So I want to publicly thank her for that. The crowd erupted in applause. Lily felt her face burn, but she also felt proud. She'd given Bull and his friends purpose, but they'd given her something too, proof that asking for help wasn't weakness, that strangers could become family. That belief could change everything. After the event, an older man approached Lily. He had white hair and kind eyes and moved slowly like his body hurt. "I'm Marcus Thompson Sr.," he said. "Bull's father." "Oh, he never mentioned you." "We weren't close for a long time. After Maya died and his marriage fell apart, Bull pushed everyone away, including me. But then you came along. He called me for the first time in 3 years the night he met you, told me about this brave little girl who reminded him why life mattered. You gave me my son back, so thank you." Lily didn't know what to say to that. She'd thought she was just a scared kid asking for help. She hadn't realized she was saving people in the process. In 4th grade, a new girl named Sophia joined Lily's class. She was quiet, nervous, constantly looking over her shoulder. At recess, while other kids played, Sophia stood alone near the fence. Lily recognized that posture, that fear, that isolation. She walked over. "Hi, I'm Lily." Sophia barely looked at her. "Hi. You okay?" "I'm fine." "You sure? Because you seem scared. And if you're scared of something, you should tell someone. Trust me on this." Sophia's eyes finally met hers. "Why would you help me? You don't even know me." "Because someone helped me when I was scared. And they told me that once you've been helped, you help others. It's how it works." Sophia hesitated, then whispered, "There's a man who walks his dog past my house every morning. Same time every day. He always stares at me through my bedroom window. I told my mom, but she said I'm imagining things." Lily's blood went cold, then hot, then cold again. "What does the man look like?" Sophia described him, details Lily made mental notes of. "Sophia, listen to me very carefully. You're not imagining things. Your instincts are right. We're going to tell Miss Rodriguez right now, and we're not going to take no for an answer." "Okay. But what if they don't believe me?" "Then we keep telling people until someone does. Come on." Lily took Sophia's hand and marched her directly to Miss Rodriguez, who immediately contacted Principal Davidson, who called Sophia's parents, who contacted the police. Within 2 days, an investigation revealed the man was a registered offender who'd violated his parole by living within 1,000 feet of a school. He was arrested. Sophia was safe. And Lily understood something profound. Her story didn't end with her survival. It extended to every child she could help, every time she could be the person who believed when others didn't. "You saved me," Sophia said one day at lunch, sitting beside Lily and Emma. "No, you saved yourself by speaking up. I just made sure people listened. What's the difference?" "The difference is you had the courage. I just had the experience. We all save each other in different ways. By the time Lily turned 11, she'd helped 6 different kids report concerning situations. Not all of them turned out to be actual threats. Sometimes kids were scared of things that were innocent, but that was okay. Better to investigate and be wrong than to dismiss and be tragically right. Bull started bringing her along to some of his guardian events. Not the intense protection details, but the community stuff, talking to at-risk kids, speaking at schools, sharing her story when it felt right. "You're a natural," he told her after she spoke to a group of foster kids about trusting instincts. "You connect with them in ways adults can't." Because I'm still a kid, I remember what it feels like to not be believed. And that makes you powerful. Middle school brought new challenges. Hormones and social drama and the exhausting work of figuring out who she was becoming. Some days Lily felt like she had it together. Other days the trauma came roaring back and she couldn't get out of bed. Dr. Chen normalized it all. "Recovery isn't linear, Lily. You'll have good periods and bad periods. That's not failure. That's being human." At 13, Lily wrote an essay for English class about her experience. Not the details, those remain private, but the broader themes of courage, belief, and community. Her teacher submitted it to a statewide writing competition without telling her. She won. The prize included a college scholarship and an invitation to speak at the competition's annual ceremony. Lily almost said no, almost retreated into privacy, but then she thought about all the kids who needed to hear that speaking up mattered. She said yes. Standing on that stage in front of hundreds of people, Lily talked about fear and bravery and the difference between the two. "People think bravery means not being afraid," she said, her voice steady. "But that's not right. Bravery is being terrified and doing the hard thing anyway. Bravery is speaking up when no one wants to listen. Bravery is trusting yourself even when everyone else doubts you. And bravery is asking for help when you need it, because facing danger alone isn't brave, it's just dangerous." The applause was deafening. But more important than the applause were the emails that came after from parents whose kids had been dismissed, from survivors who'd felt alone, from teachers who promised to believe their students moving forward. Her words mattered. Her story mattered. She mattered. At 15, Lily got her learner's permit. Bull offered to teach her to ride a motorcycle when she turned 16. "Really?" she asked, eyes wide. "Really? Every guardian should know how to ride. It's tradition." "My parents will never agree to that." "Your parents have seen you face down predators and testify in federal court. I think they'll survive you learning to ride a bike." He was right. Her mother protested initially, but her father surprised everyone. "Let her learn. She's proven she can handle danger with intelligence and caution. A motorcycle is nothing compared to what she's already survived." On her 16th birthday, Bull showed up with a helmet and a Harley. "Ready, warrior." Lily climbed on behind him, wrapped her arms around his waist, and felt the engine rumble to life beneath her. They rode through Brookhaven, past the diner, where it all started, past Riverside Elementary, where she'd gone to school, past Maple Street, where the white van used to wait. But those places held no power over her anymore. They were just geography now, just streets and buildings empty of the terror they'd once contained. When Bull pulled over and let her take the controls in a safe, empty parking lot with him right beside her, Lily felt something click into place. Freedom. Not freedom from fear that never fully disappeared, but freedom despite fear. Freedom earned through survival. Freedom built on the foundation of every hard choice, every moment of courage, every time she'd refused to be silenced. At 17, Lily started volunteering with the Guardians officially. She helped organize their protection details for at-risk kids. She spoke at schools about safety. She mentored younger children who'd been through trauma. And she rode. God, did she ride. Bull got her a used Harley for her 18th birthday, a smaller one appropriate for her size. She had it painted purple with silver accents matching her old purple sneakers from 3rd grade. Her parents cried when they saw it. "Our baby's all grown up," her mother said. "Our baby's a badass," her father corrected, smiling through tears. Lily rode that motorcycle everywhere. to school, to volunteer events, to visit Sophia and Emma and the other kids she'd helped over the years. She wore her guardian patch on a leather jacket Bull gave her. Not the honorary member patch from when she was 8, but a full member patch that said she'd earned her place. "You're one of us now," Bull said when he pinned it on her. "Not honorary, not temporary, forever." "Forever," Lily agreed. College applications came and went. Lily got accepted to Penn State with a full scholarship for psychology. She wanted to work with trauma survivors, wanted to give others the support Dr. Chen had given her. But before she left for college, there was one more thing she needed to do. Bull had been sick. Not obviously he hid it well, but Lily noticed him moving slower, breathing harder, declining rides he would have taken without hesitation before. "Bull, what's wrong?" she asked him one afternoon at Joe's diner. "Nothing, just getting old." "Don't lie to me. I've known you too long." He sighed, his massive shoulders slumping. "Cancer, stage 4. Docs give me maybe 6 months." The world tilted. No, you can't." "Lily, hey, look at me." He reached across the table and took her hand. "I've lived a good life. I've done good work. I got to see Maya's memory honored through protecting other kids. I got to know you and watch you grow from a scared little girl into an extraordinary woman. That's more than most people get. But I need you." "No, you don't. Not anymore. You needed me when you were 8 and terrified. Now you're 18 and capable. You're the guardian now, Lily. You're the one who'll protect the next scared kid who walks through that door." She cried. She didn't wanted to be strong for him, but the tears came anyway. "I don't know how to do this without you." "Yes, you do. I taught you everything I know. Now you teach someone else. That's how legacies work." Bull passed away on a Tuesday in March, surrounded by Rico, Jax, Tommy, and Lily. His last words were, "Keep riding, warriors." The funeral was massive. Veterans from across 3 states came to pay respects. Every child the Guardians had ever protected showed up, 47 kids ranging from elementary age to college students, all wearing something purple in Lily's honor. Lily gave the eulogy. She talked about Maya, about courage, about how Bull had saved her life by believing her when no one else would. "He taught me that warriors aren't born," she said, her voice breaking but steady. "They're made through hardship and choice, through seeing evil and choosing to fight it, through fear and courage coexisting in the same heart. Bull was my guardian angel. Now it's my turn to be someone else's." After the funeral, Rico approached her. He was crying, which shocked her. She'd never seen Rico cry. "He wanted you to have this," Rico said, handing her a box. Inside was Bull's leather jacket, the original one he'd worn that first day at the diner. On the back, someone had stitched new words above the guardian insignia, "Lily's guardian angel." She wore it constantly. To class, to volunteer events, to speaking engagements. It became her armor, her reminder, her connection to the man who'd changed everything. At Penn State, Lily started a campus organization called the Guardians Against Silence. It provided support for survivors of violence, stalking, and abuse. It trained students in bystander intervention. It advocated for better campus safety policies. Within 2 years, the program expanded to 17 other universities. At 21, Lily got a call from Agent Carson, who'd retired from the FBI, but still kept in touch. "Lily, I wanted you to know the last of the original 15 just died in prison. Natural causes. Henley was the last one, and he's gone. It's over, completely over." She felt something release in her chest. "Thank you for telling me. Thank you for starting all of this. Those 47 kids you saved, they're adults now, living full lives, safe because of you." After they hung up, Lily sat in her dorm room thinking about full circles and endings and beginnings. She pulled out her phone and texted the group chat she maintained with Sophia, Emma, and the other kids she'd helped over the years. "Henley's dead. The network is gone. We survived. We won." The responses came flooding in. Relief, celebration, gratitude. But Sophia's message hit different. "We didn't just survive. We thrived, because you taught us how." At her college graduation, Lily wore Bull's jacket over her cap and gown. Her parents sat in the front row crying proud tears. Rico, Jax, and Tommy attended, their leather and tattoos standing out among the academic regalia. When she walked across that stage to receive her diploma in psychology with a specialization in trauma recovery, the guardians stood and cheered. After graduation, Lily opened her own practice in Brookhaven. She specialized in working with children who'd experienced violence, stalking, or abuse. Kids who weren't believed. Kids who felt alone. Above her office door, she hung a sign, "Your voice matters. I believe you." The first child who walked through that door was a 9-year-old boy named Marcus, named after his grandfather, Bull's father, who'd reconnected with his son in those final years, and was honoring Bull's memory by bringing his grandson to someone he knew would help. "Dr. Jenkins." The boy said, his voice small and scared. "There's a car that follows me home from school." Lily crouched down to his level, the way Bull had taught her, and met his eyes directly. "Tell me everything. I'm listening, and I believe you." As she listened to Marcus's story, documenting details and planning next steps, Lily felt Bull's presence like a hand on her shoulder. This was the legacy he'd built. This was the work that mattered. This was how one scared little girl in purple sneakers became a guardian angel for others. The circle was complete, but the work continued. Because there would always be children who needed protection. Always adults who failed to listen. Always predators who thought they could operate in shadows. But there would also always be warriors willing to stand in the gap, willing to believe, willing to fight. Lily's law spread to 42 states. The Guardians expanded to chapters nationwide, and every single day somewhere in America, a child found the courage to speak up because they'd heard Lily's story and knew their voice mattered. Years passed. Lily married a fellow trauma counselor named David, who understood nightmares and patience and the long road of healing. They had 2 daughters, Maya Rose and Emma Grace, named for the people who'd shaped Lily's journey. When Maya Rose turned 8, Lily taught her about instincts and safety and speaking up, not to scare her but to empower her. "Remember, baby girl, if something feels wrong, it probably is. And you tell mommy immediately, okay? I will always believe you. Always. Like grandma should have believed you. Exactly like that. We learn from mistakes and do better." On Lily's 40th birthday, the Guardians held a special ceremony. They'd protected over 2,000 children in the years since Bull's death. They'd expanded their mission to include anti-trafficking work, domestic violence intervention, and community safety programs. Rico, now in his 60s but still riding, stood up to speak. Bull started this organization because he couldn't save his daughter. But Lily finished what he started. She turned grief into action, fear into power, trauma into purpose. Every kid we've protected, every family we've helped, every predator we've stopped, that's Bull's legacy through Lily. That's what happens when one person refuses to be silent. Standing in that room full of warriors, some wearing leather, some wearing business suits, some barely old enough to shave, Lily felt the weight of her journey settle comfortably on her shoulders. She'd been the scared girl, the survivor, the advocate, the counselor, the mentor, the mother. She'd been broken and rebuilt, lost and found, silenced and amplified. She'd lived through hell and come out the other side not just intact, but transformed. And every day she put on Bull's jacket worn, now patches faded leather soft with age, and she rode out into the world looking for the next scared kid who needed someone to believe them. Because that's what Guardians did. They showed up, they listened, they believed, and they never ever gave up. The white van was gone. The nightmares were manageable. The scars had faded into stories, but the warrior remained. Purple sneakers worn to victory, leather jacket, earned through courage, motorcycle rumbling with purpose, Lily Jenkins rode on. Not because she had to, but because she chose to. And in that choice lived every lesson, every battle, every moment of grace she'd been given. The guardian angel rides on Bull had said. He was right. She always would.